What kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a conversation with the drummer from an alternative power pop rock band After Ellis. Please welcome Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Ellie.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. Okay, so I love you. Love you. Like, you're on my playlist. Talk a little bit about, yeah, it's great music. Talk about, first off, Stuart Epps, who has worked with like Led Zeppelin, guitarist Jimmy Page, Rolling Stone bassist Bill Wyman, Bad Company, Elton John, The Beatles, George Harrison. He produced one of your songs, which is unbelievable. So talk a bit about, if you want to talk about you, if you want to talk about the band, just tell me your journey, because it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff has happened just since I even talked to you last.
Oh, good Lord.
About doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Stuart Epps, he's worked with he was one of the original guys that was back in all the old style studios in Sussex, England, and that's where he got his start. I mean, John Bonham's drum sounds, that was Stuart Epps, and he mixed and did all this stuff for Led Zeppelin, and he's still working with. I mean, he's probably been working 50 years now with Elton John.
Wow.
And so he's got a lot under his belt. I mean, and Abbey Road Studios, everybody and their brother recorded there. He was one of the main reasons why Ardent Studios in Memphis got their big jump back in the early 70s. And a matter of fact, we did one song there at Ardent Studios. We did Yo Mama, that's on the CD, but it's not one of the songs, but so that kind of went hand in hand, and working with Stuart was a good experience. It taught us a lot as far as recording, how backing vocals sit in the mix, and just different tricks and tips on just a little nuances that you get, in mixing and stuff like that. So we took a lot of that. Stuff. As a matter of fact, it's probably been close to a year that we first started with him to when we actually had a finished product.
Wow.
I think we released the single 99 Gold in February, but it was a long process. But when you're doing everything remotely, and that's what's cool about recording today, is it doesn't matter where you live in the world. You can work with guys,
Exactly.
or girls, no matter what you're doing. And it's the same way with your shows and stuff. No matter where anybody is in the world, it's easy to have access.
Definitely.
And 99 Gold did really well. I mean, as a single, and it was off of the CD Memories, and 7 songs off the CD Memories have charted on the radio charts. Some of them have charted multiple times, up to a half a dozen times in different weeks. So our songs are doing good. I mean, they're doing good. We're pleased.
Yeah, I guess.
They're getting a lot of airplay. They're getting a lot of notice.
Well,
we're getting a lot of notice.
yeah.
We just hooked up with MRS. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're out of Canada as well, a management firm. Mm-hmm. Rosner Management Services.
Go Canada.
Yeah, and we just hooked up with them, and with a bunch of sponsors, and they're pushing the Rise Up TV thing. So we're going to be on they've got that going on in the UK and Canada. It's a TV station and it's a patron thing. They're going to start getting the TV going in the United States, so we'll be doing a lot of TV stuff
Nice.
in the future. Plus, we're going to be touring on the East Coast and the West Coast promoting the Rise Up TV gig.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark Rosner he's a unique guy, and that's why we ended up going with him instead of a lot of other different people. I like the uniqueness and the creativeness and doing things different and approaching things at all different kinds of angles, and just figuring out how to get things done. And that's pretty much how my mind works anyway. So especially on the business end, of creative ways of getting our songs played and people to buy our CDs and stuff. So I'm really not a businessman, but I'm a good thinker.
You're doing a great job. Like, a great job. My goodness. I mean, okay, so let's talk about 99 Gold for a second. It hit number 5, week 15, hit number 12, week 21, hit number 3, week 22, hit number 2, week 36 in top 30 radio charts, and hit number 1 on Code Zero Radio. So for not being a businessman, you're doing something right. Talk about the members of the band, because the rest, like just talk about them. I'm in love with you guys.
The members of the band, other than me, is Jason Crowden. He's guitar. I work with him on the bass line. But it's just us two. We're doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to keep members because we don't play live enough for people. And the reason why we don't play live is because it's better for us, in my opinion, to use social media and to use, digital radio as well as terrestrial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And we can reach an audience worldwide, whereas if we're playing down at Joe's Bar and Grill, we're reaching, 50, 60 people. It's just not worth our effort to go down there with a road crew and set up and, do play our stuff. So, that's my approach anyway of how I'm approaching this. And that's the way the music industry is going anyway.
Yes.
Spotify is the way everything's going. And, the music labels, they're having a hard time because they're still trying to get, they're still trying to figure out how the heck they're going to get CDs sold and, how they're going to get all these bands that they got signed, how they're going to get their stuff sold and stuff. And so things are really changing. Things are really changing.
They are. And I mean, you're not the first person that's talked about the change in the music industry. That's why I wanted you to talk about the band, because I know there's only 2 of you. I know his vocals are amazing though. So basically, social media is, when I was in radio for 18 years, I'd have music reps come in with great, great music, but because they weren't signed, they didn't get played. I love the shift. I love independent music. There's so much music out there that nobody's ever heard of. And you guys, although everybody I think has heard of you, like, good Lord, you guys are so amazing. You're taking the music industry to a new level.
Yeah, we're trying. That's our goal. Because my thoughts when I was putting together a business plan was we were going to try and do multi-genres. We were going to try and cross over into as many genres as we could. And I believe with the group of songs that we've already got on the CD has done just that. And the songs that we're going to do in the future are all going to be the same. A lot of bands end up, going through all this growing stuff, and they change and they do this, and a lot of it doesn't work. But we're gonna keep the writing style, and we're gonna keep the way we're doing everything with the big vocals and the big harmonies and the classic guitar sounds, and we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. And if people like us now, they're really going to like us, when the next CD comes out too. So, we got some new stuff going. We've invested a lot into our studio. We do everything ourselves. We've got all the Nev stuff that's the old school, the way things used to be recorded back in the grunge, when the grunge era first took over in 2000.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of mix and that's what we're looking for. Our sound to sound, you know, at that level as far as the mixing and the mastering. And I want us to be a lot cleaner than a lot of bands that are out there as far as the mixes. There's bands out there as far, you know, everything's just so cluttered, but our mixes is going to be clean, clear. You'll be able to hear everything, and it's just going to be a good dynamic sound.
Well, and that's fantastic. I mean, if you've got a good mix, keep going with it. Like, don't change it.
Right.
And you're adding a new...
Yeah, we learned a lot, and a lot of it was trial and error. I got to admit, it was trial and error.
Me too.
But you know, we're marching up the right road now.
You are. You definitely
are. Getting the digital, using digital, and getting the analog sound is hard, and we've invested the money into all the plugins and all the widgets and gadgets and all the things to try and get so we don't sound digital. It makes, you know, we want the song to breathe. Back in the day when, you know, you could hear, you know, the songs, you know, they were big. Mm-hmm. They would breathe. And, you know, analog was where it was at, and everybody went to digital because it was cheap.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could record anything on digital.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so many bands out there now, is because, you know, you can record everything at home, but you still got to have, you know, all the whistles and bells that go with the digital that makes the sound that you're looking for, and we've definitely got that now.
And you do. And people will find out if they haven't heard from you by listening to the songs
that
we're going to play.
And they're going to be able to tell, because we redid everything. Even the songs that are on a CD that we released, we redid, because the Nev computer plugins just make everything sound it's unbelievable. It's just an unbelievable sound. So even the stuff that they've heard before is just going to sound a lot better than it did on that CD.
Well, it sounds great right now. Like, I absolutely love it. Like I said, you are on my playlist. You are. Now, you obviously, like, just listening to you, you know what you're doing. If you had any advice to give a new artist that was just starting out, I already kind of know what advice you're going to give them, but what would it be, Steve? Like, what would you tell them?
You know what? I think for the basic artist that's out there, it's get some songs done, get them done. If you can't get them done by a professional in a studio, you don't have the money. Like I say, you can get it done pretty cheap on digital, but you got to get some good mixes. You got to get some good masters, and they got to be good enough to be played on the radio. Even if they're demos, they don't have to be finished products. All our songs were demos at one time. But another thing, the one thing that I really stress to artists is, you really should get somebody to do a market analysis of your songs. And there are a couple of companies out there, and it's not that much of a money, you know, of an investment type thing, but you're gonna, the people that we used, you know, we spent a lot of money on the market analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right on. I mean, it was spot on. Everything that they told us about each individual song was exactly the response that we've gotten. And the songs that they said that were going to be really good and going to be popular, and, you know, you just got to do this and that, and you know, clear a few, you know, clean off the edges a little bit. They were spot on. Those are the songs that are charting. those are the songs that are doing the best. So I swear by that market analysis. And it's the same with any business plan. Get a business plan. Make sure that you got, get something to where you can go forward. You set up some guidelines and follow those guidelines. And trust me, you're going to hit every snag and every bump in the road. I'm the same. We went through the same thing, but you're going to get frustrated. But you got to learn how to you got to learn how to take no for an answer. Because everybody says no.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for that one person. You get them at the right time, and it all works. It all starts to click. But you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You just can't go out there. I mean, you got to have a plan that's mixed with everything: social media, radio, all the interactions. You can go on all these different chat rooms. A lot of these other there's radio stations that have chat rooms. There's podcasts that have chat rooms. There's all kinds of stuff. Get in there and throw yourself around, and don't be afraid, and be positive. I mean, you got to stand up for your music. If you think you got good music, stand up for it. But you gotta be able to take criticism. That's it. You just can't all of a sudden say, well, this is the way we're going to do it, and that's the way it's going to be done. Well, your chances of success goes down the less you're open to suggestions from other professionals.
Exactly.
So, but that's the biggie. That's the biggie. You got to set goals, and you got to have a plan, and that's pretty much it. I mean, and it'll change daily. Sometimes it'll change hourly. But that's what I've been doing. I've just been following a plan that I map out every year. I map out our goals as to when we're going to release a single, what we're going to work on, what videos, what we're going to do as far as promotion. All that stuff just gets done on a quarterly basis. And we run it just like a regular business. This is run just like a regular business, quarter to quarter. And that's how you got to do it. And there's not that many bands out there that do that. And that's why they're not succeeding. And I guess that's why where we are.
Yeah.
I guess I can say it's because I treat this like a business.
Well,
and
it's working well.
Thank you.
That was I've never heard that advice with the market analysis and having a business plan. Not one artist has come on here and given that advice. So thank you, because I think it's great advice.
I hope it's if nobody's doing it, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. But
I don't think so. Look at how successful you guys are. No, I think it's a great idea. What a better way. I mean, and to be positive and to learn how to take no and not let it get you down, because all it takes is that one yes. That one yes. Wow, I could talk to you all day. Where are you from, Steve? Just completely off topic.
I'm originally from Racine, Wisconsin. I was born and raised.
Okay.
in Racine, Wisconsin, but I've lived everywhere from Chicago all over the place.
I can hear.
Right now, I'm currently just outside Aiken, South Carolina.
Okay, I can hear I can hear the accent. That's why I asked you, because of the way you the way you end everything. I was like, okay, I know he's not Canadian. What's going on here? Okay, I just wanted to know for my curiosity. So going forward, I mean, obviously you guys are going to just keep doing what you're doing because your recipe for success is definitely working. You are on the right path. So the advice that I think you just gave is invaluable because everybody can just sit back and look at you guys and see that it works. Where do you want to go from here? I mean, is being signed something that you're looking at? Do you want to stay independent? Where is
It's not all that important.
Yeah.
Being signed today really isn't all that important. We've we've turned down record deals. It's just waiting for the right opportunity, because there's publishing, licensing, copyrights. There's all different kinds of structures that labels have. The one main thing that labels have is distribution. Sometimes they can get some labels have better distribution than others.
Mm-hmm.
But physical distribution is definitely falling by the wayside. That's going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
I don't give it much more than 2 years, and record labels are scrambling. They've gone from having all these huge, massive chain stores that had millions of CDs and aisles, down to where if you walk into Walmart, you're lucky if you get to see one aisle back to back.
Yeah.
CDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So true.
Spotify is taking all that business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can win a Grammy from just being on Spotify or SoundCloud, or you know what I mean?
That's where we're getting a lot of our stuff from. We're on Spotify. We've got a licensing deal with Blood Records. They run our Spotify. They actually run our site. We give them all the information. I just fast forward all our stuff to them as it happens, and they also run our Instagram.
Nice.
So they do that. That's what they do, and that creates a lot for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no money out of our pocket. Sure, they're going to get 50%. We're going to get 50%.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best deal you're going to get today, is a 50-50.
Exactly.
And those are the deals that I'm willing to look for. Publishing, licensing, and stuff like that. I mean, we've got tons of licensing with radio stations that are going to play our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have the licensing agreement to play our stuff, and they bounce it back and forth on Spotify. So we're on dozens and dozens of different businesses as far as for Spotify. It's not just for Blood Records.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of other radio stations that'll throw our stuff on Spotify and stuff. So that's the direction that everything's going in. Everything's going into downloads.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
Our next CD, everything is going to be gearing towards that. So we're doing a little face over. We've got a brand new logo. We've got all new pictures. We've got all new videos. We've got a new single. Everything is going to be released probably next week. As soon as I say that, I'm going to run into a bunch of snags. But Jason and we've been putting the final touches on it. The song that's going to be released next is Morning, and this is going to blow people away. It's a ballad. And it's got great harmonies, and it's got great guitars. We really did well on this one. I hate to toot my own horn, but I got to thank Pearl. I got to thank Pearl for the drum set that I've got. I had to make me a custom drum set. I had Pasty make me some custom cymbals. And those drum sounds that we've got now they're just amazing. They're just amazing.
So
they sound like cannons. Like when you go to a live, show and you're in an arena and the drums just sound like they're just thundering. That's the way these are, and that's the way analog was. And so look for our next CD to really open up some eyes.
Well, and just so you know, this isn't a one-shot deal. If you want to come back and talk about the new CD, if you just want to shoot me your single, a lot of artists are doing that now, and I throw it up on my odds and ends on my website. Because I am worldwide, and it's exposure, no matter how big or small. So that's always available to you. I also want...
You're gonna get our stuff. You don't have to worry.
Good. And I want you to do my business plan because holy crap. You're doing amazing. I want to do as good as you guys are doing. What 2 songs are we going to hear from you today, Steve?
99 Gold, which is our current single,
Mm-hmm.
and then Who I Am, which is more of a heavier song. 99 Gold is more of a pop rock song. Who I Am is a little bit heavier, but it's got the vocals going. It's got a different driving force to it. It's a good song.
They're both great songs, both of them. I want to thank you so much. This has been I try very hard not to say I have favorites because everybody's my favorite. You're a new one. You're my new favorite. This has been an amazing interview, to hear how you do things and the plan. The advice you've just given artists starting out, I think, is invaluable. And I'm so glad you came on my show, Steve. You have no idea.
I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to spread the word, help you out, and helps us out. I'm noted by a lot of the labels that are on Twitter. I'm noted as a guy that supports indie bands.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do a lot of support. I help out wherever needed. Somebody asks me something, I'm willing to help them out. I charge zero. So, I don't make any money out of it. There's a lot of guys that are in my shoes that'll charge you $12,000 to do what I do. But
yeah.
I do it for free because it's what I love. It's my passion.
Exactly.
This is all I've known since I was 12.
Wow.
So,
wow. Well, this is my passion, so I understand where you're coming from. And I give any kind of advice for free. I bring anybody on that wants to come on because I believe in supporting the indie music. I'm watching. I've been doing this for 9 months. I'm watching the change. I'm seeing it happen. And
right.
I've had big stars talk about, how it's changing. It's just going to change. So I think everybody should take your advice and go with it because it's working for you guys. I mean, it is absolutely 100% working. The fact that you give advice for free just shows what kind of man you are, and respect like you would not believe from me right now. So I want to say thank you for coming on my show. You have no idea what it means to me. Thank you for your advice, and thank God for your music, because I mean, it's very distinctive, very different, and people are going to know. If they haven't heard, they're going to hear, and they're going to fall in love with it as much as I am, because as much as I love being able to help support bands and whatever, I also fangirl, and I fangirled over you guys when I first heard your songs, which is why I wanted you on my show so bad. So thank you.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
Okay, perfect.
I love doing these kinds of shows. I did a bunch of podcasts for Factory Fast. They were the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Hopefully, I can find time. But I can always find time.
Yeah.
I always find time to be with people that support us and that just love us. So we're very appreciative of the fans. So
yes, very much so. Okay, well, good Lord, like I said, I'm going to talk to you all day. Anyways, I want to say thank you for coming on my show. You can buy their music on Spotify. Go and get their music. Seriously, you're going to fall in love with it. Also, their website, which is afteralice.net. It's going to be up on my website with a link. You just click on it. It'll take you right to their website. You can find out more about them.
Facebook. I'll just say on our Facebook / After Alice, capital A's, I have a pinned post where you can actually get the physical CDs.
Oh,
so
nice.
You can click, there's a link on there to where you can click, and it'll take you to where you can buy a CD.
Okay. So it's Facebook / After Alice, both capital A's on Facebook.
Right.
And you're also on Instagram. So
right.
People, as soon as I post, because I post on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, hopefully your people will start sharing it, because then everybody will know it's on there.
I get in touch with them. Because I get the Instagram notifications and all that stuff. I get the weekly stuff. So if there's 200-300 people that we've got, I just get a hold of Blood Records and make sure that they're following everybody that follows us.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So everybody will get the word out, and that's why I do this, is to get the word out and to show people what amazing bands are out there like you guys. So once again, Steve, anytime, and thank you for coming on my show. I appreciate it very much.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks, Allie.
And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.